Hey YouTube, it's me, your girl, Helping Hearts 888. Andrea here this morning, back with another video. Not sure what day it is, but it's April. And I first want to give credit to Dao Bay. Her channel is spelled DAO space BAE. She did a video this morning about how she was groomed to being raped in middle school, and it was an inspiration, her sharing her story, because if you guys have been following me, you know that's something that I like doing, because I feel like we can help someone else with our stories, and that's my mission, that's my purpose. If I can help someone, and just even one. But if you're new here with me, like, share, and subscribe. Comment in the comment box below. And this is my son Royal. He's 6 months old. He's been on my channel from the beginning. But so I'm going to talk a little bit about how my mother's boyfriend was trying to give me to his nephews without my permission. So I originally was born in Alaska, but I moved to Delaware with my father. I think I was about 2 or 3, but I ended up living with his mother. I probably was there from the beginning. It's kind of a blur because I get different stories, so I really don't even know. But I ended up going back to Alaska to meet my mother when I was 16 years old. So I hadn't seen my mother from being a baby to 16. So I got to Alaska and I was kind of unsure, you know, it's just an uneasy feeling. Even though she's my mother, I really don't know her. I was raised with my grandma, and I got to see my father sporadically, you know. So I get there and I ended up deciding that I wanted to stay with my aunt. I knew my aunt. So I wanted to stay with my aunt in Alaska, and she would tell me that, you know, you need to go spend some time with your mom. You need to go try to get to know them. So I decided one weekend that I was going to go over to my mom's. And my mom at the time was living with her mom, my grandmother. And I go over there, and I'm not sure if it was Saturday or Sunday or Friday, but I do know I was 16 years old. And I go over there, and my mom, she's cooking, and my grandma, she's just sitting on the couch. You know, she was older and she wasn't able to move around as much as I would have liked her to be able to, but you know, it was where she was at. And I would sit there with her and watch TV and stuff, and me and my grandma pretty much talked more than me and my mom did. But my mom had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend, he decided that he was going to ask my mom, hey, you know, she's new here. Can she ride with me? I'm just going to run up to the store. And of course, I've been sitting there. I want to go ahead and I want to get out. He's the only one there that had a vehicle, you know. So I'm like, hey, Mom, you know, okay, can I go? My mom's like, yeah, go ahead. So we're supposed to be running right to the store. And now knowing, you know, I live there, so I know now, and I'm older. That store was probably about 6 minutes from the house. But when we get in the car, he's just sitting there, you know, and he's talking, just running off at the mouth and stuff. And he says he wants to stop by someone's house. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm pretty shy, you know, I'm young. So we go stop by this apartment building. It's an apartment building. And he was like, do you want to come in? And then I'm like, I don't know. Even though I was kind of okay with it, but I'm still shy. So I was like, no, I'll just stay in the car. Well, I stayed in the car, and he came out to get me. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be in here a little bit longer. You might as well just come on up, cut the car off. So we go inside, and when I look at it now, that was probably a drug house, a crack house, a trap house, if you know any of those terms, because they didn't have any furniture. They had a table, but it was like one of those little folding leg tables with the little 4 fold up chairs, and there was a whole bunch of guys there. They were playing cards and shooting dice and had their beers and things like that. And there was me. There was a lady later on. I seen her. I guess she was in one of those rooms. I don't know. But there was a lady. But my mom's boyfriend, then decides that he has to go run somewhere. So I'm just sitting there. I don't know any of these people, you know. And he says he's running to the store. I should have knew, but of course I'm a kid. I have no clue. We already had broke the rules because we were supposed to go to the store and go back. But again, I'm a kid. Don't know any better. So I'm sitting there, and time's going by. They're just playing and playing and playing and playing. And then one of them goes, hey, you know, you look bored. You know, you don't have to sit here. You can go in that room over there. I'm a kid. I go in the room. There's an air mattress in there. That's the only thing in this room is an air mattress. Don't even think it had sheets or blankets. An air mattress. Well, I go in there, and then someone comes and they go, hey, do you want one of these? You know, they had some wine coolers and some other drinks. And, you know, that's a thing that happens so often when you're younger. In our homes, you'll be offered, you know, oh, it's just a wine cooler, it's just a beer, and then it leads to other drinks, or you're smoking or doing drugs with your children and things like that, or just exposing them to it in general. But I took the wine cooler. I'm a kid. Hey, don't get to do this on a regular, because my aunt, that would have been a no. So I drink the wine cooler, and then I get another one, sitting there just drinking and drinking. Well, I come out the room, and I'm sitting there. I don't know how to play cards or anything. They tried to teach me, but no. I had a few more of those, and I go back in the room to lay down. Well, I'm not sure how much time had went by, but I hear them out at the table betting on which one was going to get me. And they're playing. And whoever wins, I guess, I'm the prize. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no communication device whatsoever. I don't know these people, and I don't know where I'm at. Bingo. So I'm sitting in that room, and I'm like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Now, mind you, it's been over an hour. I'm still here. He's ran to the store. So I hear them saying that, and eventually one of the gentlemen comes in the room, and he sits down on the edge of the bed, and he's like, how are you? And I'm just like, because I've already heard you. I already know what your plan is. I was not doing those things. So, yeah. You told me. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, I'm fine. You know, didn't have much to say at all. Well, he leaves back out the room, and he goes back to the table, and they're whispering. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So every time when one of them would come in and out the room, I would just, you know, like, you could tell I was very tense. Like, no, I'm not. You know, even though I had my wine coolers, like, I wasn't there. I wasn't at that point. And I'm thankful that I wasn't. I am thankful because who knows what would have happened. Well, that went on for a little while, and finally my mom's boyfriend comes back. He's loaded. Loaded meaning high on something. He's a different person. So I'm like, hey, can we go home? I want to go back home. I want to go. So he's like, okay, just give a little bit. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there. It's like, in my mind, I was trying not to anger him. Like, you know, just finally we get back to the house, and my mom's like, where was you guys at? You know, she's talking to him, and he's like, oh man, I had to stop by Neff's house, blah, blah, blah. Nowhere in there is he letting my mom know that he left me there with all his nephews, a whole bunch of strange men that I do not know. Nowhere in there is he saying that. So it's like, okay. When he leaves, I tell my mom, and she's like, oh, they're fine, you know. And I'm just like, wow. Because if you, like, no, there's no, these people, no, your child should not be around them. So it wasn't until my aunt came to come get me, because that's actually my home, where I told my aunt. And she's like, you're not going over there anymore. That's that. No, not unless I'm there. Well, eventually she talks to my mom, and then she meets the boyfriend, and she's like, no, I don't want you around him. She had negative vibes about him from the gate. His energy was just off. And again, I'm 16. But as an adult and being through what I went through with my mother and my family, I don't really, sometimes I kind of wonder if she, knew those things, because there were certain things that have happened where it was like I was to be blamed for it instead of the adult person. It's like, well, you should know better than that, and this and that. And then I'm a kid. I'm learning. Even now, being 35 years old, I am learning every day, and I'm growing. That is just to learn and to grow, because we don't know everything. But I feel like now sometimes it's like, hey, but I wasn't allowed to be around without my aunt anymore. When he was there, because she was scared of what could happen. But it's kind of like another situation I had where I had asked my aunt. I met these girls at school. There was 3 girls, and if you guys are familiar with the Proud family, I'm gonna call them the Grove Sisters. There's 3 of them, and yes, they were shaped like the Grove Sisters. Sorry, but it is what it is. Well, they invited me to come stay at their house for the weekend. And I'm excited. I'm new to Alaska. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna ask my aunt. Well, I asked my aunt if I could go stay, and she's like, okay, make sure your homework's done, get all your chores done. Yeah, you got something to say. You got something to say, baby. What you got to say? Yeah. What was I at? Okay, so she allows me to. And, okay, so she drops me off, but I should have knew something weird, because they wanted me to meet. They live downtown Alaska. It was at a building, though, and we were going to walk to their house. What? No. So, we ended up, my aunt gave me some money to make sure that I had everything I needed, and we walked to their house. And everything was good for till it started getting dark. And then they were like, oh, we should go out, because we have an underage club where you got to be 16 and up to get in, but it was grown old perverts in there. Kangle hats, little smelling like a lot of cologne, couple beers, but so they want to go out. And, oh, you don't need to ask your aunt, Shawty gave you permission to be over here, you're safe, my mom's cool. Mind you, I never met a mom, and that's something that my aunt didn't do either. She didn't talk to any parent. She didn't talk to any parent at all before I got there or anything. So, we we're walking to this club. Mind you, it is dark. We're walking. The club lets out at, I think, 2. And we're going to walk home, by ourselves. 4 young ladies. So we go, we dance, whatever. It's time to go. We get back. Well, when we get back, the 3 sisters are on the phone and their boyfriends come. Well, when they come, they have an extra guy with them. I didn't sign up for this. Oh, no. First red flag for that situation, I should have been, let's go. I already should have been, let's go, because my behind shouldn't have went to no club. I didn't ask to do none of that, but I'm a kid. Let's do it. I'm grown right now. So they all go into the room with the dudes. Leave me out there with this one guy. I am like, not having it. Don't even get close to me. No, absolutely not. Yeah. Say absolutely not. Say no, mama. But well, he's out there. He's trying to talk and trying to get a little close. A little too close for comfort. I'm like, I lay down. I'm going to sleep. That's it. Going to sleep. I wake up to mustard and mayonnaise being thrown all over me. And the Gross sisters are laughing. Just laughing. And I'm like, I grab my stuff and I just take off out that house. Don't know where I'm at. I find the phone. We have pay phones. And I call my aunt. And I tell her what it looks like where I'm at. And she tells me to see if I see any street signs or anything. And she comes and she picks me up. Of course, I got punished for that. Rightfully so. She called their phone and she ended up talking to their mother. But finding out later on, the Gross sisters' mother was where they got everything from. They were allowed to drink. They were allowed to smoke. They were allowed to have with boys. And there was no parental supervision at all with them. So that experience, was just like, they were not my friends. They never were my friends. I really didn't know them like that. I just wanted to get to go out and have fun. And they were basically, I was going to be that hookup person for their boyfriend's friend. And the plan didn't go the way they wanted it to. So, and it's just crazy. And it just reminds me of when I had seen I think her name was Kanika Jenkins, where she went to a party with her friends and she ended up dead in the hotel. They found her in the freezer. She had gotten super drunk and they were not watching her, or not even watching her, just call someone or take her home. No. They allowed her to leave with some of the people she knew and some of the people she didn't. And it was just crazy because she ended up dead in the freezer. And I want to say she was like 16 or 17 too. And it ended up that way. And so I learned so many lessons from that incident. It was just crazy. Even the incident with my mother's boyfriend, it's like, man, looking back, it's like, yeah. And that's why I am the way I am with my children now. And so much when we're younger, we just are ready to grow up. We're ready to grow up. We want to be there. We want to be 15. We want to be 16. Then we want to be 18. And then we want to be 21. And that is one piece of advice that if I could go back, I would give to my younger self is don't be in a rush to grow up. Don't be. It's not just the, bills and all that. No, it's just, stay a kid as long as you can and appreciate it. Appreciate being a kid and enjoy every moment of it. Don't try to grow up too fast and get into things that you don't need to be into. I'm gonna have some more story times on here. And again, Dao Bae is Daobae. She shares stories and she has a lot of things she does on her channel. But I appreciate her for sharing her story because it takes a lot. It just takes a lot of strength and courage to share. But our stories help other people, and then it might inspire someone else to share their story and help someone else. So it's like a domino effect. But like, share, and subscribe. Thank you from my family to yours. My email is helpinghearts888 and my Cash App will be in the description box below. I do receive donations and thank you. I truly appreciate it. But like I said, like, share, and subscribe. How you getting mad at the mama? Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back. Thank you.